Hey there, it's Sam here from BMT School of Music, and today what I'm going to be showing you is Day Tripper by the Beatles. It's a really, really iconic classic 60s riff. Very, very cool riff. It's around level 1 to 2-ish. It's definitely not a beginner's riff. It's pretty impressive, very, very well known and recognised. Let's crack on with it. So here's how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the bottom E string, and we're going to play notes 0, 3, and 4. There's a little bit of a choice as to what fingering you use here. You'll notice I use what I call a hybrid finger position, where I'm using my pinky finger. I think in the earlier stages of playing the guitar, you're probably better off being a little bit stricter and using exclusively second position. So second position is where you get your finger 1, you align that with fret 2, you get your finger 2, you align that with fret 3, you get finger 3, you align that with fret 4, and you get finger 4 and you align that with fret 5. So each finger is assigned to a different fret. And what this means is that if I play fret 2, I'm using this finger. If I play fret 3, I'm using this finger, etc. And it's kind of like a finger rule. And so if I use this position to play this riff, if I just come slightly closer, then it would go like this. So because the tune doesn't use a fret 5, you don't use your pinky finger if you are playing in second position. So first three notes, 0, 3, 4, like that. And you can see that I use fingers 2 and 3. A lot of people, when they start playing this riff, they're probably going to get their first finger drawn towards that because, like our first finger, we use for everything. Like when we press a button on an elevator, when we type, we do point. It's kind of like the default finger. So you've got to make sure that you kind of override that instinct to use that finger. And just use those two. Okay, so that's the first bit. And I'll be trying to get that rhythm. 1, 2, 3, or 0, 3, 4, whatever way you want to kind of think of those notes. Right, the next two notes are going to roll across the A and the D string. You're going to get your first finger, and you're going to play that on fret 2 of the A string. And then you're going to roll it onto the D string. Now, the reason why we use this rolling technique is it creates a much nicer sound. But also, if you were to do what I would call hopping, which is where you would actually lift the finger, it's basically going to be harder to do. It's harder to do very quickly. So when I do that rolling, it just goes straight there. Okay. Next note is an open D string. And you've got to think of this as linked to the 2 on the A, 2 on the D, straight to an open D. So your right hand will pick the same string twice. So far we've got 0, 3, 4 on the bottom E. Then we've got this roll across the A and the D to an open D. You can practice these as separate mini parts. Really common thing that a lot of guitarists do when they're practicing is they don't work out a way of kind of breaking it down into mini, kind of like mini riffs. Like this one, it's like a riff of its own. I could almost just repeat that by itself. It kind of makes quite a cool tune, or like that. And then I've got the 2 that maybe I'm linking together. Okay, right. Next bit is, it looks like a power chord, if you know what a power chord is. So it's 2 on the A and 4 on the D. So you're going to play that between those two strings. So 2 on the A, 4 on the D. So think of that as your next mini section. Then the last part is going to go 2 on the A, then it's going to go 2, 0 on the D, like this. Now notice here, you don't need to roll between those two strings or those two notes because you have the open string in between. And that open string is giving you that split second of time to be able to hop the finger over. But one thing that's worth noting is that if I've broken this riff up into 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, the second one and the fourth one are almost the same. They just have 2 notes round a different way. So you have 2 on the A, and then you go 2, 0 on the D for the second part of the riff, and the fourth part of the riff is 2 on the A, and then open 2 instead. So there's a way that you can relate them, and that will help you memorize the riff. Okay. Now those are the 4 parts of the riff. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and the whole riff all together. Like that. Some little tips. 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. Try linking 1 and 2. Like that. Try linking 3 and 4. You'll eventually think of them as 2 bigger sections. Then you try and link those 2 together. You can go a little further. You can try linking 2 and 3. And you can also try linking 3 and 4. And you kind of go between whether you're linking 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 2 and 3, 3 and, what was it said? Lost one was it? 2 and 3, and then 3 and 4, but we already did that anyway. But you can go between those and back and forth between different combinations of them, and you're practicing all the minute little interchanges between those parts. A little bit like, depending on how far you've got with chords, if you think of chords, like if you've got G, C, and D, you learn the chords, then you have to learn how to change between them. And every single pair of chords has a certain technique or a certain trick to go between them. And you'll be figuring that out just with a riff. So I hope you find this video useful and that you end up being able to play Day Tripper. It's a very, very cool party trick. Take care. Over and out.